And welcome everyone. Wouldn't be one of my streams if I didn't have some sort of issue, which I'm still experiencing because like everything just decides to not work when it's supposed to. But will be 1 second while I just get my light system decide to actually turn itself on. It could be the reason that I might have slightly overlooked that. So because of the issues on Monday with AWS, which for me started on Sunday. So the actual original source issues, there were problems with my network provider that I've got a feeling is all interrelated. But all those issues started on Sunday and effectively I've carried over to my service provider, who have had countless issues with our internet as a result, which have rolled on. And now all my devices, so I've got like loads of like lights and systems and stuff like that that's set up. And effectively all of that stuff decided to also have, well, effectively it's all, it's the same as like your smart devices, like a Ring, doorbell, smart lights, all that lot. It all essentially is connected to your Wi-Fi. One thing I might have slightly overlooked, I totally forgot about, my whole lighting system setup and everything is actually also connected to that Wi-Fi. And I hadn't really thought about it until literally wondering why I'm pressing a button and nothing's responded. I've only just put 2 and 2 together and realised that it's because all the devices haven't been reconnected to the Wi-Fi. But what actually, I connected one, but it's not actually it's not set up to the studio. So we'll have to apologies for the bad lighting today. I think it's something I'm going to have to sort out after, because it's just going to take me too long to mess around with this, I think, on the stream. Like, unless I can sort out extremely fast, which is not very likely. Let me just have a quick check to see if it's something I can quickly do or not. I think it's like something I'm going to have to manually go through and set them all up. It's like so annoying. I tell you what, smart devices, all of this technology we used today, painful when you have to reset everything back up because you've had to factory reset a router. And even though it's been set up exactly the same, it's not using the same stuff. Hey Waylon, hope you're having a good day, mate. I am a follower of the red light. Well, it wouldn't be red light. It's just, unfortunately, my actual white, what they call it, white lights. My actual studio set of lights currently today are having issues. So you're going to have to fill out with a red loo today, unfortunately, because I'm having issues with my light setup because I'd overlooked that they aren't connected to my Wi-Fi, so they won't turn on, and there's no manual way of turning them on. You have to like set them up to be connected to your Wi-Fi. Use red lights. Nice. Well, I could always go with that. I do actually have a red light that is like, it's a show light really, which is probably why it looks red. Because it's the light off that, but Yeah, this isn't my plan. Um, Welcome to the stream as well. Hope you're having a good day. Yeah, I get it. So, how long have you been playing Dune Awakening, and what do you love about the game? What do you hate about the game? I'm actually right on the fence at the moment as to whether I stream the game anymore, because I have got to the stage where I've lost interest in it, and I'm struggling to find how I can turn this and make it fun for people to have as content, when I can't really think of like much to do with the game myself. It's hard to be a content creator on a game that's on a downward spiral, because the end game sucks. No, I agree with that. I think that's because of the game architecture. Like, rather than you have a global chat, it's like global local chat. So it depends whether you're in the deep desert, Haggard Basin, where I am right now, or like any of the above. Because like if you're in the deep desert, people will talk, but even then, even in the deep desert, it's obviously server based. So depending on what server you're on, if you're on a server that's completely dead, like my server is, even in the deep desert, it has gone that quiet that you'll be lucky to see anyone talking it, even during the weekend. Where there was a period where, okay, if you were in Haggard Basin, it was kind of like busier. Well, like if you went in Haggard Basin, there would be no talking whatsoever. But if you went out of Haggard Basin and went to the deep desert, people would be talking. In Haggard Basin, I don't even think when it was at peak, when there was like 150,000 players, 183,000. I was looking at before in the stats of like the player base. We're now down to 10,000 people logging on a day, which is it's pretty as bad as it's got. It's like it's a downward spiral. We're obviously at the bottom of that. People did return for the chapter 2 expansion, like I did, and where I fought as well, because I had also resolved some battle eye issues. Would you like one of those damn bots? Sorry, I've seen a bot on one of my other channels where I don't actually have a bot that looks after that channel properly, so something I still need to set up for that channel. But yeah, I find this game has just got worse and worse, but the player base has gone down and down and down. And with the current game architecture, it's almost like they need to take their current player base and just stick them on one server in Europe, one server in kind of America, and you might have enough of the player base to keep the game feeling full enough. Because at the moment, it feels like whatever player base there is, it's so far and spread between, because there's like so many servers you can choose from. And it feels like for the players that are remaining on those servers, it's just so quiet. Yeah, they've done it in the past. Like, I'm very familiar with Funcom. I played like one of their first ever MMOs at Age of Conan, not Exiles, before Exiles. And that game was very similar to this game. It came out of, actually, I'd say similar to this game. This game came out of less bugs. That's the only difference, I would say. The Age of Conan, the original game, came out of like a lot of bugs. But the one thing that isn't different between the two games is it came out of huge popularity, but its player base died very fast. So it was left with a very core load of players, me being one of them, that played the game longer than most people. And the ones that did stay were more interested in the kind of raiding side of things, like where you could take like 24 players and you were playing against the environment, but playing against big bosses and that type of thing, which this game doesn't even have that. So it's kind of like we've been chucked the deep desert, told it's a PvP zone, it's your sandbox, go away and enjoy yourself. But it's like, but the game hasn't led up to that. It never had any gameplay that led you to that. It's kind of just like, it's pushed you into something that's just doesn't seem to really exist. And that's my opinion, at least. Yeah. Going to the game before going on mandatory government vacation. Yeah, definitely. There's oh, I don't know. I do love Dune, and I've learned loads about Dune that I thought from a person who loved the original movies and stuff like that, and obviously the new series that they brought out and stuff like that. And they've obviously, this game's come out just after like the series is kind of finished. So it's come out at a really good time where there's a lot of people who wouldn't have even heard of Dune, but have now heard of Dune. And I think they hit the nail on the head after when they released it. But it feels like they brought out a game as well that was so heavily led towards PvE content and not a PvE. It's not a PvP game. Like, it's not like Rust or EVE Online or any of those games where from the minute you get out, you step into the game is just PvP with elements of PvE in it to varying degrees. This game is like so heavily PvE, and then they've turned around and said it's almost like they can't be asked finishing the game. This is rarely being harsh, I guess, on the game developers or the publisher or whoever came with the final concept of it. But it felt like they've like made all this lovely narrative that takes you all the way through the game, and then they got to the end and was like, well, yeah, we're involved with the end, we'll just say it's a PvP desert. And the game, and because they can build and stuff like that, they can work out the rest themselves, and then we'll see what happens. But it's almost like it's just like two separate games. One game was really well made, and then the second one was just like, it was more of a throwaway kind of, oh, we'll see what they do with it approach. Because the fact that they've jumped from this kind of fully narrated, this is the storyline, this is how the line you're going to do, to then literally, yes, and the end game is like, it's player generated, feels like it's like really disconnected with what the actual rest of the game is. Like, if it was supposed to be like that, then why did they make the game so that the PvP starts much earlier in the game? Like, it doesn't have to start at the very, very beginning, although ideally, in my opinion, it should have done. But it should have at least been introduced when you get towards the, like, I would even say like the Haggard Basin. The PvP should be well into this area. And as soon as you start to venture beyond, I would say the start as a PvP should have began. Arguably, even in the PvP area, it should have been. There should have just been save zones, like what you have the guild area, where it's like it says this is PvE, protected. Well, it's PvE protected the whole of the Haggard Basin. What was the point in like even having that the guild zones when those guild zones don't really do much apart from prevent you getting a weapon out, but doesn't make any difference whether you get a weapon out there or not. It feels really strange how like certain parts of it are. I actually play on an American server myself, so this is on an American server. And the reason why I wanted to play on an American server is because, as a very experienced PvP player, I was thinking way into the advanced, and I knew that I was going to be I wanted to play in the PvP, but I wanted to be able to play under my kind of rule. And because I was aware of how this game was set up, in the sense that quite a lot of it is PvE. I wanted to be able to do, like, be involved in fights when I want to be involved in fights. So when I play a mainly PvP game, if I have options of where servers are by region, knowing that most players go towards their local region rather than going anywhere on the opposite side of the world, then I choose it this way round, so that then at least when I'm playing during my hours, I can do like all the PvE stuff and do stuff undisturbed and be less likely to have a PvP confrontation where I don't want it to happen. Then when I want the PvP, then I play in the peak zone of that area. So like the American server for me was perfect, which meant that during my normal after hour work, I can just come online, do what I need to do, and then later play later in the evening, and then I'll be playing with American people. And to be fair, I also play like EVE Online, so a lot of my friends are American from that game. And unlike this game where it is region, like that is just like one server that kind of like hosts everything, and everyone from all around the world play on that one server. So effectively, yeah, I have like friends from all over the world because of that. And you know, I'm used to playing outside my time zone. Where like when you come on a game like this, it's so much different because generally you're playing with people in a certain time zone, and it's not everyone thinks like I do in the sense of, oh, I'll go and play on someone else's time zone server because then I'll be able to benefit from the time frame difference in a way that suits me better to get more out of it. But yes, I am. Yeah, I'm not going to set out the lights today. I'm going to do it after the stream. Also, we do have drops available today, so you'll get your points and your free loot from watching today's stream, which is always good. Some extra new things that they've got as well from the drops. Some pillar things and, well, pillar things. They're slightly different than what they were there before, but they're essentially when you look in your overpack, and make sure you are connected as well. That being in Twitch, so that you get the drops. But effectively, what you can get is the latest drop from the Observer pack. So the Observer pack is this pack here, which I'll show you. And they have made a separate thing for it now, but I believe it's this one, is it? Actually, no, that's the Dune. Is it under Chrome? Actually, it's under Chrome. I tell you what, I lie. It's under Chrome. So these are the old ones. You used to get a column. So you got some columns. You can't get these anymore, but you can get the latest ones. What you can get under the current ones is you can get these triangular things, what they refer to as wedges. These are part of the new ones and a few other things. So effectively what you're doing is you're getting a lot of these new Observer things. And the latest Observer points that they're releasing are now available under the drops. Oh, good stuff. I'll follow back, Nightbreed, and check out your channel. When do you stream? Okay, we almost. I think we are back. Okay, we had quite a catastrophic failure that time. Very rarely do we have a complete computer blue screen of death, but that is what happened this time. Unfortunately, we did have a major catastrophic error. I also had a Windows update that was overdue, which I had delayed, and as we also had the problem with the lighting, I thought I may as well fix all this at once. So I left it an hour. We are starting the stream like an hour and a half later than we should have done. Although we did originally start it on time-ish. Yeah, we're going to continue. And we'll do a late stream until about 11 o'clock this evening. At which point I will then go off and do something else. I'll go do the gym to kind of de-stress after my nightmare start today. So welcome back to those lovely viewers who are rejoining us on whatever platform you're joining us today. I can see chat from multi-chat for all but our Twitch or Twitter, should I say, feed. So if you are on Twitter, I'm not sure whether I can get multi-chat for Twitter. Actually, I keep calling it Twitter. It's called X these days. But we are live streamers there as well. So welcome, everybody. And I apologise for the sudden interruption in our last broadcast. This time we should run smoother. We've got everything working, I think. The only thing I've not had a chance to do is check that our streams are working across all the platforms. However, I'm trusting they are. They're at least working on Twitch. And I believe they will be elsewhere as well. So, yes, I'm back. I fixed the problems. And I fixed the light as well. Yeah, it's not red anymore. I've got my key lights working after hooking them back up to the Wi-Fi. So I don't look super evil anymore with my red light on. I also checked out your channel as well, Waylon. Are you a big karaoke person? Are you still doing the karaoke sessions as well? I did see like if you had a schedule or anything, but I couldn't see anything going on. Lots of singing, nice. What's your favourite song then? Was it actually? So I wasn't sure if you were actually live at first, but then I realised it was just a video from about a year ago. But what's the favourite song that you like to do? Is it the one that's actually recorded on your channel? It's about four minutes long, I think. The one I watched. I need to turn that off. My bot's a bit out of date. Like, not that much out of date, but it is like, should we turn off by now? You don't remember? Is that it was a good reaction of the for karaoke. I was expecting like other people to start singing as well, but yeah, it was only at that point that I realised it was a recording of you singing that one song. I haven't done karaoke myself for years. I'm not gonna lie. One thing I do want to get and do actually while I'm here. Well, I just got like the wrong profile set up. So it's pretty normal for me. Put the wrong game profile on. Well, actually, it says it's the right one. It's right. So. Is my game going weird? Don't tell me this has reset itself. I'm going to get mental. Controls. Keybind. No, that's all right-ish. Why is, like... Why if I use my controller does it suddenly go mental? And try and... no, it decides to work. Loads of Gaga. Oh, nice. Lady Gaga, hey. That's a hard song to sing, or hard lot of songs to sing for a guy. Cool. Do you have all the key light and stuff set up? Like I'm not gonna lie, I've spent a lot of money buying loads of not just streaming equipment, because I do YouTube and loads of other stuff as well. So I have like everything from a teleprompter through to key lights. But it wasn't until I went more towards wanting to do live streaming that I got the type of stream lights or key lights that I've got, which hook themselves up. So I've got loads of Elgato gear essentially. The only thing I don't actually have Elgato is actually the mic that I've got. That's actually by Synthesizer, who kind of do really good mics generally. And because I'd got a lavalier mic from them, I decided to get their broadcasting mic, which was the only thing I didn't go with Elgato, because as good as Elgato is, their mic review wasn't overly great. So I kind of went with someone I knew personally was very good with audio gear. But yeah, I've spent a lot of money on like key lights, mics, like various different mics. Like I've got 2 cameras, one that's off now, which is this one's kind of, it follows you around, so it's like on a gimbal, and it tracks you. That's actually the cheaper one. The one that's actually part of the teleprompter is the more expensive one. Both do 4K. One's slightly different though. So the one that's on the gimbal doesn't rely on like your setup being 4K, where the one that I actually spent more money on, that actually is different. So it kind of hooks into your graphics card. So it means whatever your graphics card runs off and what your monitor's refresh are based on is what it uses for the camera, which is really weird, because I was at first, my monitors are only 1080. However, I wanted the camera to shoot 4K, and I was like forever trying to work out why it wouldn't shoot 4K. And then I found out it was because it uses the monitor refresh, or the monitor kind of resolution rate, to dictate what the camera will do feed at, and it won't do more than that. So I've actually had to use my 4090 graphics card to emulate to my monitors, and trick my computer into thinking that it is actually that the monitors are actually running in 4K. They're not native 4K, but at the moment they're emulating 4K, so that this camera will literally feed in 4K, which is really annoying. And it uses up tons more like graphics processing just to emulate this 4K. But even though I don't see 4K, everyone else gets to see 4K, and I did do that as well, because I did want other people who have 4K to have that 4K experience. But yeah, I don't see 4K myself. I noticed your mic as well. You've got like a proper like karaoke mic, is it? It looked like the type of stuff like when you go to your local karaoke, and they hand you that really expensive heavy mic. I'm assuming it's also wireless. Oh, I forgot you can't do it through the pen, you have to do it through the box. I just need to load up. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go out and set up my deep desert base, but not my proper base, just my out kind of mess around base. Just so that I can do stuff while I'm out there and have at least somewhere to go to while I'm out there. It's not the right box. I think this is the box I put stuff in. Yes, it is. I think we've got all the stuff we need to set up the base. I'm trying to think whether or not that is all the right stuff. I think it is. Ah, nice. Audio Techno. Yeah, I've heard of them actually. I think I had one of them. I used to work with a DJ and that type of stuff. So I once got hold and was allowed to keep this wireless mic that I don't think I have anymore. If I do, it's hidden away somewhere. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a Audio Techno mic. Kind of works off not Bluetooth or anything. It's far too modern for that mic that I had. I think it just worked off like RSF or whatever. You know, the old like basic short bandwidth type mic. Still wireless, but not like Bluetooth technology or Wi-Fi technology that you'd have today. What does yours use? Oh, actually, I just realised I need to go back. Luz forgot to get the blueprint applicator. Well, my one of the blueprints for the base. Also, I won't be making it very fast. I need these in order to be able to set up the base. Well, I could technically make it manually, but it's just so much faster using the blueprint. Yeah, I am on a bit of a fence as well as to whether or not to continue the streams with Dune Awakening. Obviously, then, other than helping out the community by broadcasting them so that people can get the drops, which is, you know, I'm sure there are plenty of people doing the drops, so it doesn't just require me to do it. But yeah, I am thinking twice as to whether Dune is still worth streaming at least. Ah, okay, fair enough. Yeah, the one that I got given was like, it looked like, um, so you have obviously the receivers on the mic, but you have the signal boost or that sends a signal out from a base station that you hook into whatever it is that you want the sound to go into. And it kind of looks like an old radio in the sense that you got a pulley silver, I don't know what you call it, like just an aerial, I guess, that you pull out, silver aerial, and it had two of them either side. So you'd have kind of like a prong and then little square base unit, and that would be your receiver for the mic. Turn both of them on, and then as long as it's hooked into the right input on for the mic, then you'd have your wireless mic. But yeah, it was actually very good, I suppose, for singing and stuff in it, because my mate used to borrow it off me all the time for his like karaoke kind of DJing sessions that he did. Because I got it off one DJ, because I was doing DJing at the time. I got another mate who is very much like you. He loves his karaoke, like really loves his karaoke. Unfortunately wasn't good enough to get pro, but his dad was a professional. And he used to borrow it so that he could do his karaoke DJing that he used to do. Which I'm sure now, if he had got into it, he would have done what you did and that started up like a Twitch channel or something, doing like karaoke, because he just absolutely loves it. He got me and loads of my mates all doing karaoke, and none of us are like natural singers, is all I can say. But yeah, he got us all up in our local pub, doing karaoke every like Friday night. So yeah, quite fun. I'm definitely not a natural singer or karaoke person, but he did actually get me into it a little bit. Can't say obviously that I would continue doing it like he would, but I'm trying to think where I place this now. Is it on this rock? Yeah, it's on this rock. I place this kind of out base in the deep desert in the same place all the time, just because it's made specifically for this spot. It probably will fit elsewhere, but there's a kind of few nuances to it, which would make it placing it somewhere else a little bit more awkward, but still possible. These things have also got a lot easier to place than they used to be as well. They used to be really bad and hard to place, but they've kind of got a bit easier since they fixed it, because these things were heavily broken a while back. As long as I place it the right way around. Around here. I might have put the ornithopter a bit close. We'll soon find out. I think it might be a bit close. I just have to move the ornithopter back a bit. Or to the side, should I say. It's not far off, but I think it's just slightly in the way. I always forget the buttons that this is set to, because I don't think you can remap the buttons that allow you to move the what I call the hologram that you're trying to place down. Or at least I've not found where they allow you to remap them. And as I love remapping all my keys. Or fleet. Oh yeah. Do you know what? The only thing I forgot to do first is I need to place the land claim down first, as they call it. Which, to be fair, I normally do. I'm feeling the pressure, I'll tell you what. And I also need some scrap. God. Having a great day today, aren't I? Because I also need to put the materials down, but I was going to get the materials out after anyway, which I will do. If you have any music requests, then do ask. I'm more than open to change the music. I just generally use some copyright-free music, but there is loads of different types of music. I just tend to put on stuff that's more related to the game I'm playing at the moment, unless people have a preference of something they particularly want, as long as it's available. Obviously I can't play that Lady Gaga or anything directly that would be copyrighted music, but I can play it in styles or genres of music. Yeah, I was wondering why this was all red before, and then I realised, oh yeah, the land crane unit would be helpful to place that down. Three like generators there that are probably a little bit low. Well, actually, he's hurt. Oh wait, no. It's going to need to raise, probably. Yeah. So that should work. I'll confirm that. Now I need to place down. Effectively, I need to have the stuff that allows me to build what I call a safe, but just a storage box, effectively. So I think for the level that I'm building, I need these items. Where is it? Yeah, I can't remember, actually. It might be them. I can't remember what they're for. Actually, I know what they're used for. They're used for the shields, the penta shields. There is another item I think I need as well. I will see what it is when I go to build it. Oh no. Oh, it's just 2 items. I don't know why I think it's 3 items then. Pretty sure it's 3 items. Clearly it's not. Leave all these items into this, because then we can just build everything super fast once everything's in here. I've got loads of batteries that I bought from Hangar Basin. It just saves us having to get them out here, because I just do this in a buggy and I can hit like 3 or 4 battery sites that literally give me all this. If I was to do that with like even like a Mark 5 or Mark 6 cutter array, whilst it's a waste of the life of that cutter array, you also don't get anywhere near as many as you get from a buggy. So it's kind of like a no-brainer. You should be able to now quickly put this up, hopefully. The other thing is that I just change it to that because it won't let me place that inside, and if I don't have that, like this way I can just build everything, and I know it's not going to start trying to build stuff outside or the wrong thing somewhere. So I always change to the land claim unit just so that it makes sure that I'm building what I want to build and not unselected something that I didn't want built. Hard to explain, but when you do this enough yourself, you kind of do this. And it shouldn't take us too long. Now we've got the main part started. as long as Lou forgot to remember to bring everything. But I haven't unpacked the ornithopter, so I should have everything we need to build this. I purposely keep it in the ornithopter because one thing I do find annoying that they have done is when you go to build stuff in your base, you can't tell it to not use certain boxes. It will basically, if it's in a storage box in your base, it will use it from any storage box. And you can't tell it what storage boxes you don't want it to use building materials from and what ones you do, unless you leave it in a kind of a vehicle that basically then doesn't count as storage, which is kind of annoying because I've got tons of stuff, even for the main base that comes out that I normally would build in the deep desert if I was planning to, I don't know, do savers. If I was going to do some spice refining, I would have to build up the main base. It's doing that because it wants me to put the pellet shield up. I'm trying to wonder why. I want to build the ground, but yeah. That's another thing I find annoying with when you're building these. It even sees like the penta shield as an object, because theoretically when it's up it is, but if you turn the penta shield off, you should be able to like treat it as if it's not a wall, but it always treats it as if it is a wall, regardless to whether it's built or whether it's on or off. I'll leave that one off. Oh, not fill that one in, purely because I need to do the underside of this, because that's where all the generators and that go. Itch. Yeah. Which we'll have to do in a particular order as well. I need to get it to try and select it. Very weird how it lets you put some of these things together. Like, I do understand why, because it obviously doesn't want you to use an exploit to not build things, but why some things are like this, that should have been that should have been the support anyway, because that's next to what is a foundation. So why it will only be supported off this is crazy to me. But whatever. Basically, these are being supported from the fact that it's coming off the bottom base and not off the foundations, which it does eventually come off the foundations, because this will come off the foundations, but it won't do directly from the bottom foundation for whatever reason, and I don't understand why. I'm guessing that they are covering some exploit. I don't know exactly what, but I build this one almost every week if I'm planning to. So if I'm streaming, and obviously so I did take a break for, I would say, about a month, and some of that was to do with the actual BattlEye, the anti-cheat software, because I was having major issues with BattlEye. It kept kicking me from the game without any apparent reason, and I did a lot of research to try and find out why it was kicking me. Obviously I'm not cheating. There's no reason to cheat in Dune Awakening. Is like, there's very little, if any, PvP. But even in any game, I just won't generally cheat. Like, the only time I've ever run a cheat is on a single player game, when I've already completed the game and I'm just trying to find other things to do with the game. And if you use cheats, you can kind of find hidden things sometimes in games. That's the only time I've actually ever used cheats. One thing I hadn't realised just how rampant it is online these days. And that's more because I had to do loads of research into how to try and fix this issue with BattlEye. There's going to be a video that's going to release tomorrow. I put it into production over the last couple of weeks, and I only just finished the editing this week did all the promotional material, and the video goes live on YouTube tomorrow. I think about 3 o'clock. But yeah, that video explains on how you fix basically the issues that I was experiencing, because I was literally getting chucked out of the game, and it was really random how it happens. But I also had the issue as well in Grand Theft Auto. So I had to try and find out how to solve this issue, because it made the game unplayable, especially in Dune Awakening. I didn't mind so much, although I didn't mind so much in GTA, because GTA you don't lose anything, but in obviously this game, if you're out in the deep desert and obviously that happens and you get kicked out the game, by the time you get back in the game, a worm can come and obviously gobble you up. And obviously if it happened when a worm was coming and it was aggroed, even worse. So yeah, this particular one is the one I would always put up, regardless to whether or not I'm planning to play the game properly. And when I say play the game properly, not just do it for a stream, where if I'm just streaming in one particular week, then I will only put this base up, because the other base just takes, there's a lot more to it, and there's a lot of effort to put it up in some ways, because until again they bring out the patch where you can have the cargo container where you can bring everything out, hopefully in one go, depending on how big they make that cargo container, because they haven't confirmed any details about it yet. However, I can't wait for them to bring it out, because obviously that's going to be make, well, everyone's life a million times easier. My big base that I would build out here every week, that I wouldn't mind doing if I could bring it all out in one go. But that's the biggest problem, and I don't know whether you have that issue yourself. Do you actually yourself build out in the deep desert or not? Or did you give up on it ages ago? or have you never done it? I always forget to give my guy some water. I keep forgetting, because I've stopped playing the game so much, because the game has got, for me, quite boring, and I think that's just because of all the issues I had. And then eventually, by the time I did get everything working nicely, all the player base had disappeared, and I was quite enjoying trying to do some of the PvP side of the game, which you can't really do if there's no one else around. So kind of, and the PvE side of the content, I've done it all. Like, there isn't I've done all the storylines. I've had to go at literally all of the PvE, at least parts of it, unless I want to grind for like all the level 6 stuff that you can get in the deep desert, doing that PvE stuff, which even that, like, I've killed the testing stations to death. You haven't yet. You have not. What, you haven't built at all in the deep desert? I think this is also probably one of the reasons why I think it killed off the player base as well. Having to build out the deep desert each week. And I think that a lot of that's actually to do with the way that you can bring materials out here. Because at the moment it's very painful. Like, unless you're building like what I've done today, which is just a base that you can literally chuck in an assault ornithopter. And to be fair, even this ornithopter, you wouldn't have been able to do this near the start, because they've only just changed the mechanics. Well, I say just. Obviously, in the Chapter 2 update, they changed the mechanics for the assault ornithopter, so it went from 1,000 up to 2,000, which now makes it possible to bring out at least a base like this, which is this is just what I call an outpost base. In other words, it's bare basics. It has no stuff other than being able to land an ornithopter in here and give you some place to store stuff. But a lot of people have complained that obviously it got painful to bring out stuff every week to the deep desert. And if you're going to go into full production, which theoretically I think a lot of people do want to do when they're in the deep desert, so they want to bring out all the stuff that allows them to do the spice refinery, which if you're doing the spice refinery, you want to do it with the big spice refiner, which takes up a lot of materials. Like to bring out the big spice refiner and to bring out the large ore refinery, that in itself is an assault ornithopter. So that's it's just short of 2k. Actually, I think it's just over 2k, because by the time you put all the stuff in it, because it takes up that much stuff. It's like because it's not delirium, is it? It's the plasmatium. The amount of plasmatium you need for both those two big things, plus then the spice melange you can fit on your own backpack. That's not too much of an issue. But all the other components that you require to build those two things is just over one assault ornithopter just to bring out those two items. That doesn't include all the materials you need to build up your base. And these bases have to be big because these items aren't small. So you couldn't fit. Well, maybe I could reconfigure this slightly, but I'd have to make it slightly taller, because the spice refinery it's like 4 stories high. Like I didn't realize how big they were until I went to try and fit one in the base. I was like, wow, these are ridiculously big. It's like these take up a hell of a lot of space. But yeah, I don't mind too much building this base, other than the fact that what really annoys me with having to build them every week is more the fact that it's bringing the materials out here. That's the issue. So most people don't want to build a big base or guild bases like you used to. I remember the first couple of weeks in Dune Awakening where a lot of players, they'd come from beta and stuff like that. And I'd never played the beta, so I was literally having to learn it all, take myself through the game, etc., etc. But I did come out to the deep desert quite early on, and I did notice the guilds had big elaborate bases out in the deep desert, and I was like, wow. And they're building that every week. And I was really impressed. And I was like, oh wow, this is going to be amazing. But then those big elaborate bases that took a number of the blueprint things to put together, they literally stopped after about a month, because people obviously got fed up of picking it out every week, having to figure out all the stuff, and then having to piece it all together. Because even as you've seen today, this is very small base. It's big enough to put stuff together, and big enough to sit the large ornithopter. But other than that, it's a very small base, realistically speaking. But yeah, I can imagine the big guilds, they got very pissed off. And from what I read on the forums, players pretty much, the feedback to the development team was please give us something that brings stuff out. What I didn't understand, and I hadn't realized straight away, and I wanted to get the big ornithopter virtually straight away, and that was always my aim. Up until I found out something a month before I was actually due to start doing it, I found out, big ornithopters can't bring stuff out to the deep desert. I was like, what? What, they can't carry a buggy or anything out? Because I thought, okay, so there isn't a cargo container, but you could put everything into a buggy, and a buggy has a 3,000 capacity, so that gives you something at least substantial that you could put stuff into and carry it out here. But apparently no, you couldn't even carry anything through from the world map out into the deep desert. And I was like, that makes zero sense. And what was the point of having the carrier other than, okay, so when you're finally in the deep desert, all the stuff that you have to bring out here, so you also have to decompact all of your stuff. So if you want a buggy out here, you'd have to decompact it to bring it out here, because obviously you can't zap it to bring it out here via the what do they call it? I can't even remember what it's called. What's it called? Oh yeah, the vehicle backup tool. So the vehicle backup tool, you can't just like zap it because the buggy isn't zappable. Obviously, the large ornithopter isn't zappable. So obviously, at least that one you can fly out here, but the buggy you can't do. That also means the harvester as well, that you have to decompact it. I wouldn't mind that too much, other than the fact you also get damage when you're trying to deconstruct things. So that's not exactly the best mechanic. That, like, at first I thought, okay, well, at least you can decompact it. But then I realized, oh, but you take damage on your, on your construction tool in order to decompact it, which makes zero sense. When you put it together, you don't take any damage, but when you take it apart, that damages it. It obviously makes sense to damage it for repairing, because obviously they want it so that it doesn't last forever, and you have to make more of them. Fair enough for repairing, but it doesn't make sense as to why it damages it to deconstruct it, considering you need to deconstruct these things in order to get things out of the desert. That's one of the reasons why I don't think a buggy area anymore, because up until the patch where they fixed the free repair where you could essentially make things brand new again, up until that point I would just repair things through the aka fix that was now exploitably fixed. But yeah, I wasn't happy when obviously, well, I was happy that they removed that exploit, because at the end of the day, that was the way that was intended it, that you shouldn't be able to just repair things back to brand new. However, I wasn't happy that they haven't resolved some of the issues that I think needed to be fixed first for it not to be an issue. And that one of those things is the fact that, yeah, you can't bring a buggy or any other vehicle out with the carrier through the world map, because the only way you can do that at the moment is through deconstructing that vehicle, bringing it out in pieces, and then putting it back together. When the tool that you need to deconstruct takes damage. I suppose arguably you could do what I do with other things and use like a Mark 1 or Mark 1 cutter array. So I use a Mark 1 cutter array to carry around with me, mainly because like when you're actually, so one of the main reason I use it is actually because this is handheld, and I find having a handheld one just allows you to kind of move it more, so you've got more control of it. Because the bigger ones, they're so big that it's more like hip, so you can't exactly have full like point and click and fire, where the other one's more, because it's from hip, you've got very much less movement, and you've got to be in certain position before you can actually use it, or and then the game crashes. At least it wasn't a computer crash this time. This is because I'm probably using one of the latest drivers that the game does not like. Well, this is the issue I found with Battlefield as well, because I had to update the video. So I finally got to a stage where I found one that worked for Dune and worked for all my other games and didn't cause any instability. Then Battlefield 6 came out, and I really wanted to get it to run it for streams, and then I found out that effectively I had to update my graphics driver again, because Battlefield needed its specific latest driver for it to work properly, because I tried it without it, and it caused blue screen of death on my computer twice, but also killed the game like consistently. You'd only about to play the game for about an hour before the game would just crash, or it'd crash your whole computer. So at the moment, I have updated it again since that original driver that came out when the game first came out. However, this one, while it's better, it's still not 100%, and it doesn't cause crashes anymore on GTA, which the other one did. The other one, GTA did not like whatsoever. It just kept crashing. Okay, and we're back. I apologize. This time the OBS decided to kill. I'll tell you what, it's this driver. It is the latest NVIDIA driver, but I've got no choice in using it unless I roll back to an older one. And if I roll back to an older version of the NVIDIA driver, I'm going to have other issues with Battlefield. So, welcome Square, and thank you for the follow. The optimization for NVIDIA, I don't know what the optimization for NVIDIA would be. Simply not to use NVIDIA graphics cards, but I don't think you have much choice when you're using when you're actually having to use their hardware. My real choice would probably, like, I've heard Intel's latest graphics cards, gaming graphics cards, are supposed to be very good. They're not quite at NVIDIA's level yet, but they are not far off. So I'm hoping if they keep pushing the market and they do go properly into the market, I am very tempted to move over to NVIDIA. And not from NVIDIA over to NVIDIA. I'm very tempted to move over to Intel, because I've got to the stage where I find NVIDIA graphics cards and drivers are really starting to get to the point where they're painfully unstable when you're on the latest versions, and trying to get one that is stable with the rest of the hardware seems challenging when you want to play the latest games. Because I didn't have any of these issues until I was forced into having to upgrade to the latest driver. Quite annoying. Yeah. See, mine's for the 4000 or 40,000 series. Like, it's very hard to say, I'd say. Like, I would hope that if I didn't have to update the drivers in the way that I found I've had to with NVIDIA stuff, I'd have a lot less issues. And that's why I'd love to move away from NVIDIA's graphics cards. Although I actually, like, if it wasn't for the stability issues, I'd love to keep them. This game is new enough. I would say that this game is like, so this game, when it first came out in July or June, Dune, it had its own graphic driver, or a driver that was specifically, it was included in. And it actually, if you went to Dune's website, developer website, they said that this version was joint collaboration with them, and they actually told people that if you had a certain graphics error that's shown on your computer, that was a sign that as to why, like, you know, you're not showing that you're on the latest graphics driver. Because when I first started the game, it's been ages since I've had to play a game that's that new that I've been forced onto getting the latest graphics driver. Normally I like running graphics driver, like NVIDIA graphics drivers that are about a year or maybe sometimes 2 years old, because they're just so stable in comparison to like the latest ones they always bring out. There's always instability issues. Normally, I would go as far as saying that most of NVIDIA's graphics drivers that they bring out, 1 in 6 are stable, literally. So you might find 1 in 6 months that is truly stable. And I'm not even talking about like the games it's made for. I mean just like general stability. So if you've got your computer on, you can still have stability issues and not run a game that can make it unstable. But the latest NVIDIA drives, and even previous ones, at the point when they come out, generally, most of them, like, I would say at least, you know, they'll bring out 4 or 5 bad ones that are unstable, and you'll get that one every 6 months or thereabouts that is stable and it won't cause any major issues. The longer it's out, the more stable it gets, because there's less things for it to go wrong with, and there's certain like programs and things as well that it doesn't cause conflicts with that can also cause things like blue deaths and various different other things. So it takes a while for these things to bed in. So when you're in a game that forces you to update these things, then this is where a lot of our instability comes from. One thing I don't understand is like, why are my shields not up? There should be fuel in the pretty sure there's fuel in this. Oh, did I actually, thinking about it, I don't think I put the fuel in. Or did I put fuel in it? I might have left the fuel in this. No, I did leave the fuel there. So that means the fuel should be in the generators, I think. It might be that I haven't put enough generators down. I think actually that might be the issue. Yeah, I don't think I've put enough generators down. I think I have to... My blueprint is one generator short, and I think I